Did you ever think about transferring law schools? Yes. Have you got any tips for applying and interviewing for jobs? Do you feel like you were more nervous for 2L than you were for 1L? Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of vLAWgust. I'm sorry it has been a few days. I kind of transitioned from vLAWgust being an upload every single day thing to an upload more frequently thing, just because 28 videos in a row was going to drive me absolutely crazy. So welcome back, it's another episode. Today we're going to be doing a get ready with me. I have so many juicy questions to answer. I always put posts on the community tab asking for questions, and you guys do not hold back. You guys deliver every single time. I'm gonna get ready, do my makeup, and answer your hard-hitting questions. But first, we do have a sponsor of today's video, which is Dossier. So you guys know I have worked with Dossier a few times before, and it is because I truly love their perfumes. If you are somebody you don't want to spend a ton of money on a perfume, Dossier has you covered. Their fragrances are luxurious, classy, and a fraction of the price from normal retailers. Dossier perfumes start at $29, whereas some retailer perfumes can be up to $280, which is honestly ridiculous. I also love that they are constantly updating the scents that they have on their website. So every time I go on to choose new perfumes, there's so many new fragrances and they all sound so good. So I always have the most difficulty deciding, but that is a good problem to have. They have a risk-free policy, so I know it can be kind of sketchy buying perfumes online because you don't know what they smell like. But with Dossier, you get free returns, free exchanges if you don't like the scent. So there's literally no risk. Also, for those people out there who like buying in bulk, if you buy 3 bottles, you get 25% off and free shipping. I love anything that gives me free shipping. It kind of feels like I'm scamming the system a little bit. So if you buy in bulk, you will get free shipping. I'm gonna show you the perfume that I got this time. This one I am so excited about because it is one of my favorite scents of all time. This is Floral Lavender. I love lavender scented things. So good. You guys know 2 of my 2 favorites are almond and lavender. I just love them so much. This is Floral Lavender. This is a dupe of YSL's Libre, and it has notes of mandarin, neroli, black currant, jasmine, lavender, orange blossom, vanilla, amber, and musk. This smells so good. I feel like you only need a couple sprays of this, so this would last you forever. What I found is that Dossier perfumes smell almost exactly like the retailer brand, and you get them for a fraction of the price. So that's great. Best of both worlds. Thank you so much again to Dossier for sponsoring this video. I love partnering with brands that I really believe in, have really great customer service, and they're just a joy to work with. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog snoring in the background. She just fell asleep. But if you want a discount, you can use the code MadisonR10. I will have it at the top of the description box if you want to check it out. You can get money off on your perfumes. So we are going to get into the video now. All right guys, so it has only been a couple of weeks since I last did a Q&A. I just found that these generally get such positive reactions, and I completely get it because I'm the type of person, I really enjoy watching people get ready. To me, it just feels kind of like you're on FaceTime with a friend. I feel like we get really chatty in these videos. I get to show you some of my favorite products, and it's just a good time. I'm gonna be talking about the makeup just a little bit, but mostly I have about 15 questions to answer, so we're gonna get through those today. I'm gonna start off with this. This is the NYX Marshmallow Primer. I will link all of the makeup products that I'm using below if you are interested. There are some that I really, really love. This primer is pretty good. It does smell like marshmallows. You guys know I'm not a big fan of marshmallows, but I just really like how this primes my skin and gets it ready for makeup. I use this on days where I want my makeup to stay a little bit. We are going to dive into the first question. Was it difficult to implement fitness into your day-to-day life as a law student? I would say it was easier than you would think it would be. I remember when I first started law school, I truly thought I would not have time to have a solid fitness routine, and I think I maintained my fitness routine the entire time. I don't think there were any weeks that I really fell off, that I wasn't getting active, because I've said this so many times, and it's something that I like driving home, is you have a lot of free time as a law student. But for me, it was something that I really prioritized. So I think because fitness is one of my main hobbies, I was able to fit it in pretty easy. Like, it wasn't that hard for me to fit it into my schedule, but that's because I really don't have many other hobbies. I would say fitness and YouTube. Wow, I used a lot of primer. I would say fitness and YouTube are my number 1 and number 2 hobbies. Don't ask me to rank them in order because I just love them both so much. But because I don't have many other things going on besides school, it really wasn't that hard to fit in to just say, you know what, I have an hour in between classes today, I'm just gonna use that time to go on a run. With Zoom, it was even easier just because, you know, I could just come into my room, change, go on a run, come back, shower, and then have my next class. With classes being somewhat in person this year, I really don't know how that's gonna work. I have a fitness routine kind of mapped out that I'm going to try to stick by, but I mean, who knows? I'm not gonna beat myself up if it takes a little bit of time for me to adjust. I'm also in the middle of kind of changing my workout style. I'm back into running again. You guys know I kind of flip-flop back between weightlifting and running. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Foundation Dewy Smooth. This is my favorite foundation of all time, and it's only $5. So I do flip-flop back and forth, but I do have a plan so I can get my runs in every week, but we will see what happens with me being on campus more. I'm just not gonna beat myself up about it, but short answer, it was easier than I thought it was going to be initially when I started law school. This foundation is it's just too good. I think this is $5. Everything you will see, I use everything in the Maybelline Fit Me line because it's all so inexpensive and it really is good quality. This makeup look that I'm doing today is gonna be my go-to class makeup if I'm wearing makeup to class, which I don't often do, but sometimes I do. Sometimes you wanna look good to class, but a lot of the time I don't. But if I do wear makeup to class, this is the go-to look. I don't even bother with high-end makeup very much anymore. All the high-end makeup that I have is stuff that I've had for a long time, like eyeshadow palettes and stuff, but normally I just go back to drugstore stuff because that's, honestly, it's just as good and it's a fraction of the price. We are going to go on to the next question. Okay, we'll do the fitness ones first because I got a few. Can you talk about how to get into fitness as a beginner? Yes, this is something that's hard. It's hard because I was an athlete growing up my entire life. I played sports. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school. I stayed relatively active in college up until my sophomore and junior year where I really didn't do anything. And then my senior year, I got back into it. So I've been working out pretty consistently for years. I'm just gonna use this Fit Me concealer, but the thing is, I don't really like using a ton of concealer under my eyes, so I just put this much these days because I'm really going for more of a fresh look than more of like a cakey look. So I would say for people who want to get into fitness, start with a workout that you like and one that you can stick to. Do not say, I'm gonna start on Monday and I'm gonna work out 7 days a week for an hour, because you're just not. You'll do that one time and then you'll hate it because you're not in good enough shape to do that. So then you'll fall off and you won't work out any of the rest of the days. So I would say start small, keep your goals attainable. Say I'm gonna work out 3 times a week for 30 minutes. That's perfect. That's a great way to start. And find a workout that you like. For me, running and weightlifting are my number 1 and number 2, just depending on what mood I'm in. I love both of them. They both make me feel really strong, really athletic. But if you don't like running, if you go out for a run and you hate it, then don't do it. There are so many ways that you can move your body and so many ways that you can exercise that are good for you and that will get the job done. So find something that you like, because I promise you, even if you're someone who isn't into working out or never has been, there is a style of workout that you will like. It could be anything. It could be rock climbing. It could be dancing. Like, you just have to find out what works for you. I'm taking the Maybelline Fit Me powder. I would say my number 1 goal right now isn't like muscle building. It's not weight loss. Right now my goal is kind of just to be as well-rounded of an athlete as I can be. So that's why I like to incorporate runs, because I want to be in good cardiovascular shape, but I also like to be really strong. How I started was I just would do I would find like a workout on Instagram. Like I did Whitney Simmons workouts for a long time when I started. Now I'm kind of graduated from those, so I don't really do them as much. But like if you're wanting to get into weightlifting, great. If you're wanting to get into running, I would say the best thing that you can do is interval training. It's a great way to start. Just go do 30 seconds of walking, 30 seconds of jogging. Do that for 20 to 30 minutes. You're gonna get a great workout, and it's a good way to start building up your cardiovascular health. So those are kind of my ways to really get into it. Be realistic with yourself and what you can accomplish, and find a workout you love. Also make sure you're sleeping enough and make sure you're eating enough, because I feel like there is a tendency to undereat when you start a new workout program, and undereating, it never helps anything. It literally doesn't. So make sure you're fueling yourself as well. I'm taking this L'Oreal Brow Styler that I've been using on my eyebrows lately. And one thing that I've been doing just to keep my makeup a little bit more fresh is I just haven't been filling in my eyebrows as heavily I've just been kind of doing just a little bit just to define them and fill in any parts where there are gaps, but I just haven't been doing them as heavy-handed as I was even a month ago, because I don't really like that look. I feel like it looks too harsh for my face shape, so that's something that I've been kind of changing. What is the biggest piece of advice you can give for people who will be applying for law school in the upcoming months? My biggest piece of advice is to not let your self-worth be determined by the application cycle, because it is so easy to let yourself get so entangled in LSAT scores and GPAs and all of that stuff that you just kind of lose sight of what's important. I'm telling you right now, since I've gotten into law school, besides like YouTube stuff, I really haven't thought about the LSAT. The only reason I think about it is because I get asked about it so much, but other than that, like in my day-to-day discussions with my peers, I'm not bringing up the LSAT. It's not something that ever comes up. But I get that when you're going through that time, it feels so important, because it is. I'm not downplaying the importance of the LSAT at all, but it feels like that's the only thing that matters in the entire world, and the only way that you can be a successful lawyer is by getting a high LSAT score and going to the best school in the country. And that's just frankly not true. So I would say the best thing that you can do while you're applying is do your best, but also realize that in 10 years, it won't matter. If you want to be a lawyer, if you really want to pursue the law, you'll find a way to do that if you're at a good accredited school. That doesn't matter if it's T14 or T50. You can be a good lawyer either way. So don't get caught up in that, especially if you're consuming a lot of content online, like on Reddit, where it seems to be very much like T14 biased. Don't let that sway you. Don't get entangled in the numbers, and just do your best. And I would say another just logistical tip is to apply early. That's something that I kind of got lucky. I applied in February. That's pretty late for law school admission cycles, so I would kind of recommend applying earlier is definitely better. Now we are going to contour, highlight, do blush. So let me find that really quick. All right, let's get into a juicy question. Did you ever think about transferring law schools? Yes. I did. This might come as a surprise to some of you, because I have spoke so highly of WashU my entire time that I was there. I truly love the school and I love where I'm at, but I have thought about transferring. When I got my first semester grades, I did better than I expected, and some schools do adjust your scholarship based on your first semester grades or your first year grades. WashU is not one of those schools, and I was considering transferring for a brief time because I thought I could get into a higher ranked school with my GPA, and I would be paying just a little bit more. So I was thinking I could transfer, pay a little bit more for the T14 kind of sticker name. And that's kind of where I was for a lot of the time during the spring semester, just thinking like, why not? Like, if I can't get my scholarship adjusted, I might as well just leave. And I kind of just sat down with myself and I thought, okay, let's not be impulsive. Let's really think about this. And for me, I knew I kind of wanted to be in St. Louis long term. I also knew that I loved WashU. I mean, it's a bummer that they don't do scholarship increases after your first year, but they also give all their scholarships are unconditional, so it doesn't matter what your grades are. You'll always keep the scholarship that you get when you come in. So I think it just took some time for me to realize, okay, that's probably not the best decision for me, but it was something that I did think about, and I think it's important to be honest and open. I considered it for a couple of weeks. A lot of it was very impulsive thinking of like, oh, I'll just apply to a different school and go somewhere else. But, you know, I knew logistically it really wouldn't make a difference. And I think a lot of it was just like, you know, I might as well just go to a T14 because I can get in. Because initially in my law school application process, the T14 was never gonna happen. So I thought with my GPA, like I could get in, so why not go? But I feel like that kind of goes against a lot of the things that I've always said, and I think I got kind of caught up in the prestige of things for a while, because like I said before, even earlier, like at a T50, at a T100, you can be a good lawyer. So for me, for my career goals, like it just didn't make sense, but I did think about it for a while, and I don't think I ever really said that online, so there you go. All right, putting on some blush now. I use this color blush. I really, really like it. I used to not wear blush, and now I feel bare without it, because blush is one of my favorite things. Will you be joining any other extracurriculars besides law review for this upcoming year? I am going to be on law review this year, which I don't know how much of my time it's going to take up. I really don't. I've heard things like, oh, it takes up so much of your time, and then I've heard some people say it's more manageable. So honestly, genuinely don't know. Wow, that's a lot of blush. Look at that. Then I just take a big fluffy brush and kind of blend it out. I'm also in our health law association, so health law, healthcare is kind of one of my areas of interest. So I am the vice president of membership. So if you're an incoming 1L at WashU and you watch my videos and you're interested in health law, feel free to slide in my DMs and I can put you on the email list. That'll be really fun, being able to do some in-person events and get to be on the exec board for that. I'm also an admissions ambassador, which is really cool. So I'll probably be doing things for prospective students throughout the year. I think we like go to lunch with prospective students and talk to them and stuff, which will be really fun. But other than that, just kind of chilling, doing my YouTube channel, having a good time. My 2L year seems like it's gonna be really fun. My class schedule is like crazy manageable, I think. So I have class from 1 to 5 on Mondays and Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, I only have one class at 1 o'clock. And then Thursdays is my big day. I have class from like 1 to 3, and then I have a class at 6 to 9 p.m. And then Friday I don't have class. So I feel like my class schedule is kind of manageable. I should have a lot of time to make videos and just a lot of time outside of school. So I would like to get more involved and join more clubs, but we will see what happens. I'm about to put you onto something, okay? If you want an eyeshadow palette that is $3, that is the best eyeshadow palette you've ever had, these. I have 2 of them. These are the Wet n Wild Color Icon eyeshadow palettes. I'm obsessed with these. This one is in the color Camouflaunt. Like, look how beautiful this is. And look how pretty the colors are. I will link them down below. They are literally $3. They are so worth the money. But next question. Do you feel like you were more nervous for 2L than you were for 1L? I think there are a couple layers to this question. Since I'm gonna be in person, like, there obviously is an aspect of law school that I've never experienced before, and that is an in-person cold call. Never experienced it, no idea what it is, or what it's like, or how terrifying it'll be. So like, yeah, I'm kind of nervous for that. Kind of nervous just to meet people because I am very shy. So for me, the thought of meeting so many new people who, like, I kind of know because I've seen them on Zoom for the past year, but I don't really know, that does make me kind of nervous. But I think in other aspects, like academically, I'm not more nervous. If anything, I'm less nervous because I feel like now, even having a summer job, like, I feel like a lot of weight has been lifted off my shoulders. So academically, I'm really not nervous, and also I just kind of know what to expect. Socially, I'm definitely a little bit more nervous because it's just kind of hard. I can be a little bit shy and standoffish sometimes when I meet new people. I'm the type of person who, if I'm in a group setting, I really like to spend some time observing before I really start like contributing and talking. I don't know if any of you are like this, but I'm very observant first and foremost. So I will like observe the people I'm with, like kind of get a feel for their personality types before I start talking, before I start, you know, like cracking my jokes, like being more kind of outgoing. That is something, like the social aspect is something I'm a little worried about, but I do have like some really good friends that I made, so I'm not that nervous. What would you be doing if you weren't in law school? I would definitely be in grad school for psychology. I knew I wanted to go to law school, so it wasn't like I was ever really entertaining the idea. But since my undergrad bachelor's was in psych, I did think to myself that if I wasn't going to law school, that I would go get my PsyD or PhD and be a clinical psychologist. That was the other plan, the alternative route if this didn't work out. How to deal with the fact that law school will take up most of your time and you won't have as much time for your other hobbies and other social interactions. I think this is just such a misconception, and this is why I talk about it so much, because I actively get asked questions like this. You do have so much time. I'm gonna go in with this shimmery shade and throw this on my lid right now. It's gonna be so pretty. You definitely do have time for that stuff in law school. Depending on how you delegate your study schedule, like you can have time for all of your hobbies. I had time to work out all my first year. I had time, like if you go back and look on my channel, I posted 1 to 2 videos a week all of my first year. Like literally, I think I took like a 2-week break at one point. But it really wasn't super hard for me to balance my hobbies. Social interactions are a little different because that was like the height of COVID lockdown, so I guess I really didn't hang out with friends very much. So I can't really attest to that, but we'll see if it's any different this semester. But I don't think it's necessarily something you have to cope with. I just think it's something you have to be strategic in making your study plan and deciding how you're going to delegate your time so you can still have time for your hobbies. I haven't used this color yet. It's gorgeous. Look at how pretty that is. I love like kind of goldy bronzy tones. I just think they look best with my eye color. Yeah, we're gonna go in with another color and answer another question. I'm gonna take this fluffy brush right here, and we're gonna tap right into this color and put this on our outer V. What's your Myers-Briggs personality type? Okay, I am an INFJ, so if there are any other INFJs in the comments, please let me know. What do you think the strengths of being an introvert are in law school and also as a lawyer? Introversion versus extroversion, it's not about how outspoken and how loud you are. Being an introvert versus extrovert is just all about how you recharge. Like after a long day, like do you prefer to be by yourself to recharge, or do you prefer to be with other people? And I'm very much so, like, I like time by myself. I think as a law student, it's great because I think I had a good mixture of collaborative versus individual work because I like spending time by myself to recharge. So I would spend time and study by myself, and I didn't feel like I needed to be constantly surrounded with people. I think, you know, there are many introverts that are very successful lawyers, and you definitely have to be a people person to some extent, like working with clients and everything. Over the past year, I've been so much more social and so much more willing to reach out to people than I was before. Look at it less like a personality trait and more like a learned skill. Just because you're an introvert doesn't mean you can't learn to network, and doesn't mean you can't learn to be more of a people person, because you can totally learn that. It's totally a skill that you can learn. And at the end of the day, you can come home, you can be by yourself, you can recharge, and everything will be fine. So I definitely think introverts can be successful lawyers. If anything, we're hardworking, we're deep in the books. You can be successful whatever your Myers-Briggs personality type is. I am not a makeup guru at all, so please don't come at me, but I'm just doing my best here. All right, I think that's the eye look pretty much done. Have you got any tips for applying and interviewing for jobs? I said this was my going to class look, by the way, and it's kind of transformed into like something that I probably wouldn't wear to class. Not like I wouldn't wear this, but I wouldn't go out of my way to get this ready for class, but now I'm just kind of having fun. I'm gonna take this dark color and go below my lash line. My biggest tip for interviewing is to, I know, especially with Zoom, if you're doing your interviews over Zoom, it can be really tempting to kind of script out responses to questions. I really don't recommend that you do that. I did that for a couple of my first interviews. Like I would kind of write down my elevator pitch and I would practice saying it so much. People can tell when you're not being super genuine in the moment. Obviously, I think for your elevator pitch especially, to answer that tell me about yourself question, you should have points prepared, but make sure it doesn't sound super rehearsed and super practiced, because at the end of the day, interviews are a conversation. I've found that my best interviews have been ones that I went in just saying, you know what, I'm not gonna rehearse or practice. I'm not gonna go in with any sort of expectations. I'm just gonna go in and be myself. Obviously, you want the place you work to be a good fit for you, and you want it to be somewhere where your personality meshes with them. So why not see that at the interview phase? I went into a few interviews acting like myself, and it didn't work. That's great knowledge for not only them, but for me too. I know I don't want to work somewhere where I don't feel comfortable, where I don't feel like I can be myself, where I feel like who I am isn't accepted. So I think that's really important, is like, obviously I know in law school especially, you're like, I just want a job, I just want to be employed, but you can be picky too. Go in, be yourself, and find a place where you really feel comfortable. Also, I will say, I do think you should research for your interviews. Once they ask you, why do you want to work here, you should have a few talking points, but don't feel like you need to go like hundreds of years back into the employer's history, ask them about really specific things. Just generally kind of research their culture, research if they have, you know, the practice areas you want to work in. Do those basic kind of research things. A lot of the interviews that I've had have been predominantly question-based because they want to answer your questions as well. So always come with a few questions prepared, but those are kind of my biggest tips. Any encouragement you can give to those like myself who just completed the August LSAT would be greatly appreciated. Yeah, so I feel like I've kind of given some encouragement, just saying like in 10 years, your LSAT, you'll never think about it again. It's not it's not the end all be all determinant of the trajectory of your law school career. So don't feel like that. I actually just posted a video where I retook the LSAT and I kind of gave some encouragement. So I will put that in the cards if you want to watch it. It's normal to struggle with it. It's a completely different way of thinking than a lot of people are used to, and it doesn't come naturally to a lot of people. If you're getting into studying and you're thinking, wow, this is kind of the most convoluted, hard, difficult thing I've ever done, that's normal because it's not supposed to be easy, but it is a test that can be learned. And in a year, when your law school application process is over, you will never think about it again. And if you do, you can come back to this video and yell at me, but I'm telling you, you definitely won't. At what year should you begin to study for the LSAT? I'm a freshman in college and would consider myself to be a bad test taker. Would 6 months of studying be sufficient for my situation? I would say if you do anything more than 6 months, you do run the risk of burning out, which I talk about a lot. I think 6 months should be sufficient, and after 6 months, if you take it and you don't do that well, you could always take it again. So I recommend you start studying around winter break of your junior year, take the test right before your senior year, and then if you need to, you can take it 1 or 2 more times during the application process. Ooh, look at that highlighter. That's the Anastasia highlighter for you. All right, guys, my makeup is almost done. I love doing get ready with these. They are some of my favorite videos to do. We're gonna put some lip product on. I think I pretty much answered all the questions. Oh, this may be a bit silly, but I've been struggling with it lately. How do you balance taking care of a new puppy and also academics? It's a family dog, so I do not do like everything pertaining to Evie. And you guys know we do have Melba. Melba is only a year old, so like she still requires a lot of care, and also she's blind in one eye, which honestly doesn't require a ton of extra care, except she does get eye drops every day and she has to go to the vet every couple of weeks just to get checked on. I do a lot, like I help a lot, giving her a lot of playtime. We started taking her for walks. So just finding a way, especially depending on the breed. Obviously some breeds are more energetic than others. Aussie Doodles have a lot of energy. Like they want to be playing constantly, and I think that's the great thing about having two, to be honest, is it takes kind of some of the stress off of me because they play with each other a lot of the time, which is great. And yeah, I think just kind of scheduling in times, like let's take them on walks every day. It can get busy with school, but it's also really good for you to have that mental break of like, I'm gonna take my dog for a walk, and it's always really fun. So I wish I could be more helpful, but just you can schedule time to kind of do both, and it can be a good mental break for you while you're studying as well. So for lip product, I'm trying to think of what lipstick. Ooh, not that one. Okay guys, I know it doesn't match, but we're going with my tried and true NYX Vanilla Cream Pie Butter Gloss. It's just the best. Honestly, it doesn't look that bad. This is actually kind of a cute look. Hold on, let me show you. Let me show you in the light. Here's our finished makeup look. How do we feel? I just think with my hair and my eyes, this kind of eyeshadow looks the best. I don't know. And then for hair, honestly, since I got my hair dyed, I've just been really just liking wearing it natural. I know this is kind of messy, but I just haven't been styling it. But also I've just been kind of taking like big clips like this and doing like either a half up, half down situation, or like a full, like just like a low bun. That's kind of been my go-to. So we'll just throw the hair up. I just feel like since I got it chopped, it's been so much easier to style. I'm gonna end this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed the get ready with me. If you did, be sure to let me know, because I love doing these. I love answering your questions. I just feel like it's such a chill time where we can kind of just catch up and talk like friends. So let me know if you like them, and thank you again to Dossier for sponsoring this video. If you want to check them out, my code is MadisonR10, and there will be a link in the description box. So I will talk to you all in my next vlogmas video. Bye guys.